Who do you lot think's going to win the overall on Sunday?
Dan.
Universe show.
I reckon Dan's going to have it.
Nah, I think that isn't James Hollinshead's training partner doing
Yeah,
Nathan Heck.
Yeah, I think he's a bit too complete for Dan, personally. His
Dan
legs
looks
are nutty.
mental at the minute, though.
Dan's condition, I commented on his picture today, has finally come into where it should be. But I just think Dan's quads are too far behind his upper compared to someone like that, which is very balanced. I think there's too much of a disparity there at the moment, because his upper is so impressive in his side, to then turn to the front when you put him next to someone like that who has them quads and everything else. It'll be very interesting to watch, though, that's for sure.
I'm really intrigued to see how lights out Dan's back is against that Heck Ruled kid, because he's also mad from the back. Dan is better, but I'm wondering if that will like deflate it a little bit because he's good enough to stand next to him. Does that make sense?
That's what I mean. It's not that if the other kids had bad backs, then fair enough. But if you think, right, you've got two main body parts everybody looks at, back and legs. Right? If you've got guys that have got very good both, and then you've got one that's got a great back and legs, quads that are behind, because Dan's quads are behind, then that for me is too much of a disparity in an overall.
I think Dan's condition will be the best.
I think with Nathan, two things to bear in mind. That's only his second show, because they've done one this weekend, another show. Dan's done a couple, so they've obviously got a little bit more data to go off of. And second, with Nathan, he's obviously shorter, so that could be a factor. But I think the main thing is obviously the fact that they haven't done the peak and how that's gonna affect him. And he's also doing a show the day before, so
yeah, he's got to qualify. He's got to qualify at the PCA, hasn't he? Then goes to the next day.
But Joe Jeffrey rarely ever misses when it comes to peaking with Nathan. Yeah. With Nathan especially.
I'll give him that.
He never fucks with Nathan's peak, ever.
And what you've got to think about is really to qualify, the kid doesn't need a peak. He can just rock into that one on the day before, use it as part of his peak, you know. And knowing if it's Joe Jeffrey that's peaking him, he'll have been doing mocks and whatnot anyway, so he'll have it boxed off.
He's won what? He's won 4 or 5 shows with Joe, and I think they're consistently on. The only thing that throws me off from Dan winning is just the fact that evaluation coaching, showing us some European guy who once did men physique, and he showed me and Riz a picture of him, and the kid looked fucking retarded, like IFBB pro card retarded. So I'm intrigued, because it made me laugh when Riz put his little poll up. He said some European dude, and I think if that kid transitions to what he looked like in that picture, I think he's going to look gnarly on stage.
Wasn't he a pro? I thought that guy was already a pro.
No, I don't think so. No.
I think the issue is a lot of guys look good by themselves, but when you are next to each other on stage,
it's completely different.
I reckon Dan could do a lot more damage than people think as well, especially in the front double bicep and the front lat. I think he's good in the front relax too. It's just the legs, but he knows that.
Yeah, and that's it. When you're talking about these things, you've got to just talk about the physique that you're looking at and how you see it. Do you know what I mean? Not who it is, not whether you know them or not. For me, when you're talking about winning a universe, it needs to be somebody that is complete, top to bottom, front to back, in my opinion. Because everybody from every class is going to be complete.
Who we got? We know going for it, Riz. You're the man in there. We've got that Chris Swan.
Chud's boy, what's his name? Blade?
Yeah, Craig, yeah.
There's that black lad who won the overall. Is it in Scotland?
He was a monster. That motherfucker can pose as well, mind.
Oh, what, you're talking about Gaz Inc., the tattooed guy?
No, black dude. He won the same weekend as Hilly won his show, and there was a viral video going around. He posted that Beast Mode song. Mate, this motherfucker can move.
This guy here, his name is Akin.
Yeah, he's insane.
Oh shit, yeah.
He won. He win 3 shows from 3 different federations in like the same weekend, like a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, he is good because look,
that was it. Yeah,
Yeah, he's nuts. Yeah. And you see, these guys have got no weaknesses. They're not
Is that the guy
lacking
we're talking
somewhere.
about?
he is now open. Yeah,
He's a
Yeah.
pro. He is a
is he?
PCA pro. Yeah, he's a pro.
so he okay, so he'll be in the pro. Is there a pro show at the universe?
Yeah.
pro
yeah.
show. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a PCA judge and a PCA pro
Okay.
in men's.
I think the Blade guy will look good. Him and Chris Swan will be
mental,
good.
look.
Yeah, that's
he's
it. That
blown
was the
fuck
picture.
up.
Yeah, it looks mad. Yeah.
I think
It's
Chris.
going to be a very good show.
I'm really looking forward to going. Actually, really looking
I'm
forward to going.
jealous. I really enjoyed Hilly's show. I kind of wish I wasn't fucking here so I could go.
I can't wait to see the back shots because Dan on the back is just nasty.
Yeah.
Riz, you know it
no
starts
one
at 10
touches
o'clock.
Yeah, I'll be there. Don't worry, bro. I'll be there. Don't worry. I was at this prick show 4 hours away at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying
definitely.
because a lot of them start at 12. I only just found out today.
Yeah.
So
It's at 10 o'clock.
You going
Probably
on a
start till
Sunday?
11.
Are you gonna? I was thinking about going on a Saturday, meeting up with Ryan, but I think I'm gonna just go on a Sunday morning.
I'm just gonna go up Sunday morning. But it's just easy when you're prepping your food and shit. I just can't be asked to take it anywhere else. Just long.
Yeah.
Man.
So is that open on early? Open on early as well. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it runs exactly the same way as every other PCA show. So it goes like
Okay.
junior bodybuilding,
Yeah,
short, medium, tall.
Yeah, the Misters are on in the first block. Are they live streaming it?
Don't know.
I hope so.
One of us can live it.
Yeah.
Had JP not got the expo thing there?
No, I don't think so.
No.
So JP's done the FitX and he's doing that true athlete I was on
One
Chudley
said
about
about-
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to that. That'll be good. There's going to be a 2 bro show
Where is
there,
it?
something else. It's in London in the XL.
Is that big? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
It's a huge
It's
thing.
the old Arnold. Well, since they lost the Arnold name, it's the same show.
Yeah. Same show.
And they're going all in for it, apparently. All in for it. There's going to be loads of different sports there. Corrine's competing at a BJJ tournament there. She's just become a British champion or something. So she's competing there. So Jordan's got a huge stand with us all going and that. So it'll be mega that.
Can you imagine rocking up to an amateur in a BJJ show and you've got to face fucking Corrine? Like
Yeah.
you're getting, especially in what BJJ is as well, you are getting mauled. Like there's no way about it.
That woman could do any sport, bro. If you told her to do rowing, she'd master it, bro. She's just built different, man.
I think that's just women. Women are just fucking better.
I agree,
Like-
man.
Do you know what I mean?
Corrine as well. Corrine is a different level of human being, right? I've seen me and Jordan be training. The 3 of us are training, right? We're all in prep. And Corrine had a picture. Jordan's lied on the floor one side, I'm lied on the floor the other. And she's up, taking our weights off, moving the next machine, mate. It's fucking insane. And then in between those things and training, she would be then making Jordan's meals, then sorting out the business. Like, I pride myself on being pretty efficient and hardworking. And Jordan prides himself on being efficient and hardworking. But Corrine is just another breed of human being. Like, even when she prepped her body, like, I remember us being at the Body Power somewhere, and like, I'm on 100 grams of carbs a day. Jordan's on 225 grams of carbs a day. And Corrine's on like 600 grams of carbs a day. And it's like, she's like 80 pound lighter than me, 180 pound lighter than Jordan or something stupid. And she's on 3 times as many carbs as all of us. It's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah,
Fucking
she's a
nuts.
monster. She's a monster.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh,
Probably moving all the fucking weights.
yeah, mate, fucking insane.
Do we have any topics that we want to talk about today, boys? Did you have any chuds?
I didn't put the thing on. I completely forgot.
Bastard sacked.
We should
Peak
Tell you
week.
what, I could go through my peak week, and I could also go through what I did with Seb from winning the overall at the 2 bros.
And we had a couple of questions from last week that we didn't answer. Do you remember we spoke on the group chat? Someone asked about Tren. What was it? The question that we thought that was really fucking stupid. Tren is taking more gear better than taking less or something.
Hold on, fine.
Oh, yeah.
I've got 4 or 5 questions.
But we talk so much in the group chat, I can't even. It's gonna be.
I know.
Should we do a few questions off the bat then first?
Yeah, yeah. Come on.
Same as we're into them. Yeah.
I've
You
just
get your
realised
questions, Dick, and I'll dig in.
a few of these are just basically abuse towards me or
No,
potentially.
no more equipoise questions. We've covered that about 5 million times.
Yeah, we should just rename it to the Equipoise podcast.
Yeah.
This is a good one. Is it true you only get mad sweeps if you go to Brazil and get bummed by a tranny?
That video will still be floating about that.
Right. Question 1. Is there a specific time and a place you would prefer to implement higher volume of training? I know you will have your set ways, but is there a times you would change this?
When you come off cycle, as in you'd lower it when you come off the cycle. That's what I'm saying.
So for me, I like to move people from whatever they're doing, which is usually a low to moderate volume, during prep, to a higher volume training during the rebound. That's one time I'll change training, and the reasoning is it gives you a different novel stimulus, first and foremost, and that creates a novel stimulus that is not killing your joints, killing your CNS, because you've just annihilated all of the above during prep. So you really want a training approach that is a bit easier on your joints, is a bit easier on your CNS. And also, if you were then increasing the working volume in the gym, that is increasing your expenditure, which then allows me to drive your food up quicker while managing body composition. So that is, I am a huge fan for most of my clients that are just finishing competing now or have done, will get moved to some form of a high volume training. Not all, but I just find it makes a lot of logical sense. It's something new. You get mad pumps. You're utilizing food better. It's resting your joints. You know, you want a novel stimulus. You can grow. You can rebound, as we've discussed. So you want it's a perfect time to use for me. And then by the time that rebound phase has come, by the time you've maxed out the volume, by the time you do a change, you can then step back to your lower volume, moderate, progressive overload type of stuff. You know, your joints are fresh, your ligaments are fresh, your food's high, you're at the right period there to change the novel stimulus again. And your mind will be ready to start, do you know what? Fancy throwing some heavy fucking weight about sort of thing. So that's a biggie for me.
I don't know about you lot, but I quite like a cyclical approach with training. So 6 months, let's say I'll go on a push pull leg split, low volume, get strong, and then you kind of after about 6 months, you tend to stall. Like even if you switch the exercises, switch the order of the exercises, no matter what you do, your joints tend to take a beating. And at that point, I'm like, right, I'm going to switch to higher volume, maybe even like lower frequency, maybe even kind of like a body part split. I'll do that for 6 to 8 months. Then I'll switch it again, you know?
Yeah,
I'm quite. Yeah.
I like to do that, Judge. I like to do that. I'm a big fan of changing the training as you go.
I'm a big fan, even off the guys who are like more advanced, to still do upper lower. Yeah, I think when you've done high volume for a long time, and I have a lot of my guys with single body parts once a week and annihilate it. And then I like to go into upper lower off, then the weekends off. I really like that split. I always have, and it just works really well from my guys.
Yeah.
But most of my guys train really fucking hard. So,
what would you say is overall your favorite split? Like that works as like the most universal split or the most customizable split?
For me, it's always going to be push, pull, legs, arms, but I also always split my legs out. I can't anymore do quads and hamstrings on the same day. I bury myself on the quad side of it, or I bury myself on the hamstring side of it. I've now learned, as I get stronger, specific from a CNS fatigue perspective, I can no longer squat and leg press on the same day. So I'll squat on the quad day, and I'll do, even though I'm obviously targeting quad still, I'll then pull the hamstring across to the leg press, across to my hamstring day. And I think that's just a real good way of having a broad spectrum of like being able to focus on the weaker areas. As an example, if you need to bring your delts up, focus on delts on your push day. If you have weak upper back, rhomboids, traps, focus on that on your pull day, touch up lats, that side of things, you know?
I can't do that sort of training, man. I don't know why. Do you know, like people say, "Oh, I got a little bit of back and a little bit of hamstrings." That fucks me up, bro. I
Oh,
can't.
no, I like a
It
back and
doesn't.
hamstring. That's probably my favourite way to do it.
It does.
I
It
do a
just never
leg.
has sat right with me. I can't do it.
No, but
I get what you're saying, Riz, but like I really think it could be just in my mind, but you know, like the touching of muscle groups, keeping them full. That's the biggie thing, especially my hamstrings. Like they've come up a lot, and that's kind of how I
Yeah.
really got to target them. Like I was hammering them so they were destroyed and flatten them out because I'm depleting the glycogen. But I would touch them up again on the quad day. So by the time I went back into the hamstring day again, they are full and the contractions are insane. And I think that mind to muscle just really improved from doing it that way.
I think if you pull on your back days, an easy way to do that, back and hamstrings, is you start with, let's say, 1 set of adductor, 2 to 3 sets of hamstring curl. That gets you ready to pull. Then you go and deadlift, and then you get on with your back work.
Yeah.
So then it's easy to kind of like just tick the hamstrings off, you know?
I can't really pick one because for me, before I slipped my discs and tore my pec, I was a pretty big push-pull legs fan and just tweaking, having 2 cycles. So one leg day was more quad dominant, one leg day was more hand dominant, and switching in that way. I've done so much and I enjoy so many of them. And this is why I'm a big fan of changing training as I go, as clients go, to keep you interested and amused, because it gets to a point and I love nothing more than a fucking upper lower. I really do, just like hammering an upper lower. At the moment, when I'm trying to do more volume, I'm a huge fan of a body part split. So there's so much for me. I don't have one that I just fall back into. For me, what is important is so like now, what I'm doing now is I've been working on a new training program that almost incorporates a bit of everything. So do you know, before we've discussed where you've got the different types of hypertrophy, using working volume, using progressive overload, using intensifiers. So I'm working on a plan where you've got some progressive overload in it, then you've got some working volume sets in it, and then you've got some intensifiers, and then you finish off with a bit of like one of my 4 sets or FST7. So you've got almost 4 cycles. So for example, legs tomorrow, we'll start off with a work set and a back off set on hamstring curls seated, and then it'll do a work set and a back off on extensions. Then I'll pick leg press and I'll do a work set and a high rep back off. So those are the 3 exercises that I'm like, right, I'm going to fucking town on them because I haven't done progressive overload for a while. Then I'm going to move to hack, but I'm going to do more working volume. So I'm going to do sets of 8 till I can't get an 8, but there'll be 4 heavy sets, 8 to 10 minutes. Then I'm going to go and do straight leg deadlifts, 2 or 3 sets of just 8 to 10 with the same weight. So as long as I'm feeling around there. So there's my working volume. Then I'm going to finish off probably on some form of FST7 style exercise where I'm getting the pump and the volume and the flow through and the sarcoplasmic work and all that cell swell stuff. And I've got workouts that are just working volume. I've got workouts that are intensifiers. I've got a 4s, 1 upper lower. I really like the idea of having a bit of everything within the workout, to be maximizing.
I think I've naturally almost done that, like in all my sessions, if that makes sense. I've always done like the feeler stuff to get blood into the muscle. I then do a more closer to a working set, if that makes sense, but higher volume, like say 10 to 15, 2 sets. And then I go into my mad shit, and then the last sets were always like some pump, that sort of stuff.
And I think if I just go in and train, most of my work falls like that as well, actually. Yeah. What I just want to do is look to a specific layout that makes sense. So 2 safer exercises that you can progressively overload first that warm the joints up and cause good activation on the quads and hams. Seeing hamstring curl extensions. Then a safe progressive overload movement you can go fucking all out on. Leg press. Now you could squat there as well. I just can't squat. Then something that you can slow the negative down. Really force working volume through it, like a good hack squat. So therefore you've got your different types of approach to progressive overload. Then coming in and doing something where you're causing a real cell swell, a real nasty pump with a lightweight, like an FST7 set, like a couple of my 4 sets, like 5 sets of 10 with 10 seconds rest, stuff like that. And what I've done is I've designed a body part split that does that for every session. And then where I want to touch things up, I'll add certain touches. So for me, I need to put more focus on my chest and delt still. Now I know I can do better at shows. My pec's not going to hold me back. Those are areas I'm going to bring up. So my chest and delt days will still have some chest and delts on them. And then I really need more glutes. I need to find ways of working them with my broken back and slip discs. So I'm going to put some higher rep hip thrusts on a Monday. Legs will include split squats and something else that activates the glutes, quite focused. And then when I do Saturday, I can't really do RDLs or anything because I'm at 2 slip discs. So I'm going to do hypers at the end in a higher rep range. So the idea of this workout is not only are you hitting the different aspects in one, it's got the potential there to then, well, what one body part do you need to put focus on? And I think this is a good stepping stone for Sam. So Sam's in my mind here because he's thrived off the higher volume and he's been on it for a long period of time, a long, like 30 something weeks, and he's really enjoying it. But I think now switching from that to something that's moderate volume with intensifiers, and I can now pinpoint where I want the focus, because we've brought up his whole physique, but we do still need more arms, and we do still need more chest, and we do still need more back. So this type of split will allow me to adjust the volume, the intensifiers, where it's at, based on where we want it.
You see, you're saying about the leg extension first, yeah, and the hamstring curl first. As soon as I do leg extension first, my session goes to the shit. And me and Barm have been doing it for like the past 4 months, yeah. And other day I went and Barm, my quads ain't really grown, bro, for the past like 4 months. They look the same, but my hamstrings all grown. So what we did last week was we put the leg press first, yeah, the squat. But obviously, let's just chill. Obviously, I'm still going to go on the leg extension and get warm, but I'm not going to work on it. I'm not going to work. I'll do a few sets on hamstring curl, but then nothing's working. Just get the blood around. And then I went into leg press, the squat press. 3 sets on that, 3 sets on the hack, and my quads were fucked. My quads were fucked, and because I do the squat press so deep, my glutes were fucked as well. And then I literally I couldn't even do like pin number 5 on the quad, on the extension. I find for myself that's the best way, because if not, I have to stack the fucking leg extension. Yeah. And I found that when I was doing it with Ed a year ago, leg extension first, my knees were fucked. My knees were fucked, bro, within 3 months.
I always find.
Go on.
Sorry. I was going to say, I always find if I don't do those full stack of leg extensions, my leg to lose volume. But I also think, and this is a good learning point, I think, for people. A lot of people go into legs and try and use a leg extension to warm the knees up. That's the worst fucking thing you can do. Do a hamstring curl. A hamstring curl is the ultimate way to. Like, I've got chocolate knees. I've had reconstructive surgery on my left knee. But again, I used to do that, and I was the exact same race. It would just aggravate and irritate my knees because I was trying to do loads of volume to work out to a working set. I destroy my hams on both the quad and ham day first on a seated ham curl, and then I edge into the leg extensions. But I do find if I start putting the leg extension later in the session, even if I take my squats heavier, which I can do if they're earlier, I find I lose a lot of the volume in my quads. I don't know why that is. I just find that.
You probably can't shorten the quad fully to sort of get the full benefit.
Exactly. Yeah.
I find
if I don't go on, Chuds, go on.
With leg extension, I don't think it's an exercise that you need to go massively heavy. Like I just go 20
exactly.
30. I go, let's say I'll do. And I use it almost like as a warm-up. So I will do the leg extension kind of at the beginning, but I'll do, say, 30, 25, 20, and then I might do a set of 15 to finish. And that's like the head. And a set of 15, even like, that's not heavy, you know? It's not like a set of 8.
Yeah, and that's what mine always are. So if I don't do the hamstring curls and extensions first, my knees hurt on everything. Most people find that. But for me, I'm like the hamstring curl, the seated hamstring curl will be a set of 10 to 12 and a set of 12 to 15, say, right? Yep. But extensions will be 10, 10, 10.
Yeah.
And they'll be slow negatives, hard squeezes, activation and warm up. Then I might do, if I'm doing load and back off, the load will be 12 to 15, nothing lower than that, nothing. Anybody, and then the back off will be 20. And for me, I can leg press more if I do that first with no knee pain. But if I try and go the other way around, I can't lift as much and I get knee pain.
Hilly, can I just a bit of advice on your lower back? When I rehabbed my herniated disc, my physio had me do a really cool movement that I stopped doing. I started doing it again when we were trying to bring my hamstrings up. So, you know how you would do a goblet squat with a dumbbell? Yeah. Instead of doing that, you know the V grip you would do with a low row? Yeah.
Yeah.
Set that up on the lowest pin on a cable, grab it this way, outside, and then flip it round like this. And then what you'll find, because when I rehab my back, look, the constant tension of the cable keeps you upright and you're not lowering your back. But then if you go in a super wide goblet squat, I copy Rob Taylor, and if you watch how Rob Taylor does these with a dumbbell, I go super wide. The glute and ham I get is fucking nuts. But again, it specifically doesn't take any load on the lower back, and the cable pulls you forward so you're upright at all times, and you can just pivot into a goblet squat. Does that make sense? And it's really important to understand the hand grip. Like, you grab it this way, and then you flip it so that you have the tension there, and you can just sit with it then and just use the cable to use tension against you. But that's a real good movement for me on my hamstring days. And again, especially with your glutes, which we're both trying to pull up, and we both have chocolate backs, it should help.
Yeah, I will try that, kid. Thank you very much. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Can we just go back to that question? Because on the high volume bet, there's another point that I've used really with a lot of success and with clients. I get a lot of video feedback from my clients. And as you can tell, every time you see a weak body part, there is obscene amount of flaws in how they're training. If you have a weak body part, I would highly suggest, you don't have to do this. Say if you're super strong on legs or leg dominant, you stick to doing what you're doing. It's fantastic. Your legs can never be too big. But for like myself with chest as an example, when I finished my show last time, I realized how bad my chest was. I started doing stupidly high volume. Like I started with a 20k plate on a Smith machine. I think I was doing 4 sets of 15. I think me and Hilly programmed in the end. And then as I got better at keep my mind muscle connection way through, I then started bringing it back down again. So if you have a weak body part, stick to doing stupidly high volume, fill it with blood. And then as you get more competent at keeping that mind muscle connection and not using your delts and that sort of stuff, you're keeping your shoulders retracted in a bench press, then start moving the volume back down again. So if you have a weaker body part, there's another opportunity. You can chuck some high volume.
It's a very, very, very good tip, that. And I think, you know what? I think that's why my legs have always been a stronger point, because I've always trained legs in higher rep ranges with a bit more volume, just because I enjoy it. Like Jordan used to say to me, Hilly, I don't know how you can just smash it to 20 out like that, but I have always had the ability to. And the other thing is, if you train in a higher volume, in a higher rep ranges, higher volume, you are training that sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. The body is learning to hold more glycogen, but it can also, you can end up with better capillary work, capillary flow, because the capillaries, the whole muscle becomes more efficient. So you then are more efficient at getting nutrients and oxygen and whatnot into the muscle.
This might be bro science, but I always thought of it like depending on the muscle. So, for example, the quad is by design, by nature, we use the quad for like, you know, kind of like long distance walking, things like that, right? The hamstring is the opposite. So the hamstring is like, let's say you sprint to like run away from a predator and you need to decelerate, stop. So the hamstring, obviously, I always worked in lower rep ranges, but the quad's always been higher. I don't know if that's bro science, so there's actually some merit to it.
No, I completely agree with that, mate. And that's the same logic I follow with like triceps and biceps and delts as well. Like that's the reason people don't put the two and two together, why delts respond so well to high volume. Imagine how many times a day you're doing a lateral raise, picking shopping bags up, driving your car, picking your phone up, all this sort of stuff. It's already getting a stimulus day in, day out. And to provide that novel stimulus, you either have to go ridiculously heavy, which the majority can't do with form, and still use the muscle, they'll use their traps, or you go down the higher volume route. But I completely agree, Chuds, and I don't think it is bro science. I think there is some literature to support it.
There is literature. Chuds, you are so bang on, it's unbelievable. I would be very confident in saying there's literature to show you've got much more certain types of muscle fibers in the hamstrings than you do in the quads to back up what you're saying. I'm pretty confident there is.
Yeah. I've never looked at that, but I just sort of
like
common sense, like sort of thought of it like that.
And this is why you hear me always come. This is why you always hear me come back to common sense, because 9 times out of 10, the common sense is the fucking way to go. And it's always backed up by science. It's just fucking common sense. Do you know what I mean?
But
Like,
do you know what it is? I sort of disagree as well, right? Just from personal experience, right? This past year, I've done no RDLs, no heavy hamstring. My hamstring's the best it's ever been.
But it's the
So
same as me, Riz. Exactly the same as me. But
I've
that,
done
that
no RDL, bruv. Literally nothing heavy on my hamstring. Well, heavy on pin stuff, but nothing like loading wise, like hip hinge or anything.
but
And it's the best my hamstring's ever been.
I think that's it. I'm able similar to what I did with my chest, where we were trying to grow my hams. I started really high volume, treating it almost like
Yeah.
a bicep muscle, learning the contraction, and now my working set on a hamstring curl is near enough a full stack, and then my back offset
Yeah.
is high volume. But I couldn't do that when I started trying to grow my hamstrings. I was doing extremely high volumes to fill them up with blood, learn the mind muscle connection, understand where I'm contracting them, how much I need to lengthen it. Because I think also people fail to understand this. And that idiot on Instagram, I can't stand it, but he had such a good point the other day. The kid who's just gone pro at men's physique, Louis Blackmore. He had such a valid point. Like the way he sets his hamstring curl up and the lion ham curl up is you kind of don't want the hamstring to go all the way into the lengthened position. You kind of want to just keep it just a tiny bit short. And the same on a lion hamstring curl
Yeah.
is you want to keep it so you're not fully lengthening it, so you're almost keeping blood or tension fully on the hamstring all the time.
Like with a bicep.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because all we've done this year is laying hamstring curl, seated hamstring curl, and it's the best my hams have ever looked.
But
But
that
I've
could be
always
from a standpoint that, like, biomechanically, you're maybe not built to benefit from the deadlift or the RDL.
I
It
love
could
it.
be.
I still do an RDL, but I do it on a Smith with a 20k plate.
I do really
Like,
like nothing heavy.
yeah, I can deadlift 250, 260 with ease. But like that for me, that stretch, and when I'm in the lengthened position, I stop, pulls, and I try and drive through my glutes. Does that make sense? But I just keep it nice and light, so I'm getting a full stretch, drive through my glutes, and just try and work on that tie-in.
this is the mistake that I've made, is that because my lower back kept going all of the time, because the specialist was like, don't do anything, don't do anything, I just took these movements out. So when I was trying to do them, I would get to a point and I'd be like, okay, let's creep the weight up a bit, creep the weight up a bit. Where now, and this is partly the reason for this new training program I'm laying out, is that something like an RDL will be in there, but it will be 5 sets of 10 with 10 or 15 seconds rest, or it'll be a work set of 16 to 20 and then another 2 with the same weight. It will be exactly like you said, Deck. It will be all about form, not weight. And for me, it's a mental issue. It's reminding myself that. So I think one of the reasons I'm laying this program out is more for my mindset and other people's. Listen, there is an actual explanation of why you are doing an RDL at the end in an accumulative set or at a higher rep range. This is what we're trying to achieve. Remind yourself, you're not meant to get overexcited and start doing sets of 6. That shit's been done earlier in the workout, because it is within your mind with movements like that to start going, but that was easy, let's go, that was easy, let's go. And it's, whereas for me, I think, and for myself as much as a client, if I've got it there and I'm like, right, I am doing this like this for this reason, remember that. If a client knows, then they will stick to that because they know the rhyme and the reason for it.
The RDL at the end is where I always put it now. I would never put it anywhere early. I think you end up ego lifting. I've done 4 fucking plates on the RDL at the beginning of a session, and I've done 2 when I put it to the end.
It's,
So I
it's
mean,
also why I squat at the end now as well. Like I just don't want that CNS fatigue. And I know I can still achieve failure with a much lower weight if I put my squats like the second exercise from last, and I just do all my leg extensions, my split squats, all that sort of stuff. And instead of having to load 5, 6 plates on, I'm doing a working set of 4. Number one, I have to strip loads of fucking plates off it. I don't have to destroy my CNS, and I'm still achieving failure in a much quicker rate, or is it much more efficiently?
the squat press with your feet really high up is really good for your hamstring, I find. I like it there.
I argue with this about people, especially fucking Sam, the spastic, all the time, because he says you can't target hamstrings on a leg press. I'm like, mate,
No, you can.
if you flip the movement over, it's the same as an RDL. You're just standing up, the other one seated. It's no different. You're not contracting a hamstring.
That's why it's called a squat press and not a fucking
know.
leg press. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, talking to Jordan yesterday about bringing up my glutes. And Jordan was like, 2 legs twice a week. Every time you leg press, feet high on the pad. Straight away.
There you go, though.
from Jordan Peters himself, if everybody wants to use that as a say so.
All science guys are going to say, oh, you can't work hamstrings on a leg press, but then every pro is going to say feet high, because it's bro science, right? But that bro science comes from anecdote. They've done it. They're it works. So,
Yeah.
Is my logic right, though? Because it's actually one of the things that fuck with my head a lot. Like, I don't understand how someone like John Jewett can literally spout shit like you cannot target hamstrings on a leg press, but then is the biggest fan of an RDL. I don't like in my head it's the same movement. Like the movement you're doing with your leg is exactly the same. It's just the opposite way around. It's a stretch. It's not a contraction.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. It's weird.
Yeah, if you watch some of Nasser El Sambati's old videos, he would leg press 4 hamstrings, feet close together, feet nice and high.
Yeah.
Same as the good morning.
Any questions?
I like the good morning. I used to use that a lot when I used to power.
They are good.
Really good.
Do you know where they're actually quite good, but they're quite dangerous as well? Do you know on the hack squat, you go in at reverse?
Yes.
I still do that now.
Yeah, it's just so dangerous, bro. I get so paranoid, man.
Yeah. Again, as much as I hate to say this, that's another good one to ban. It's actually a good one to ban because it takes that load off when your back's in that volatile position and when you're bent fully over. Does that make sense? So it just takes that tiny little bit of load off the bottom. So as you come up, you get full contraction from the hamstrings.
We've got that pro squat. You know the pro squat where you put the plates on the sides, and you know the one.
I can get on with. No, the true squat's sick. That's like if you use that destroyed my life in Dubai. I walked into that and I think it was like 2 plates of side nut thing. I was going to absolutely murk it, bro. I couldn't get up after 1 rep.
What's the pro squat? Is that a bit like the
one at Ultraflex? Like a squat machine, isn't it? You like stand into it. It looks like a fucking transformer.
What? Oh, that's fucking sick, bro.
Yeah,
that's
I don't like them. It fucks with my natural path of squatting because I'm biomechanically quite built to squat. Like I can squat very narrow with my toes feet real close together. And that machine doesn't really allow it because it kind of forces your bum back. But I don't need to squat like a powerlifter. Does that make sense?
Our one comes straight down. I think it could be. It might be a different. It might be this thing.
Yeah. That's wicked, bro. That's one of my favorite pieces.
I'll send you a video of a set of mine. I used the wedge, put it right up, and almost like turns into a sissy squat. So good, so good.
That's another very, very overrated, underrated movement. You go into the sissy squat, and do you know what? You step inside the thing.
Yeah.
You put your feet in it. Just do that with 20 kilos, plate at the end of your session of fucking annihilation for your quads.
Bro, do it with your body weight, then you realise how fucking weak your legs are. Just do it with your body and a split squat.
Sick.
Set yourself up for a true split squat, then you'll tell how strong or how weak your legs are.
I always finish on split squats. I use like 10 kilo dumbbells each arm. It's like mental.
I do no weight. I have no weight on mine. No weight at all.
The big split squats are going to be one of my focuses this year to really nail my glutes.
I get a lot of glute out of it as well, rather than. Maybe because it's at the end. I don't know.
We got any more questions?
Yeah. Chudley, what was that one what was that one you put in the group about Tren? Can't find it in the group.
Someone asked Riz, wasn't it?
Hold on. I'm finding it now.
No,
it was a stupid question.
Someone asked you about using Tren. Will using less Tren mean less side effects?
It was asked me. Hold on.
I'm going to find it because I definitely had a rant about this.
Right.
Oh, I think
I'm about to read it out.
The first message I found was written in capital letters saying, "I'm just a fucking messenger."
Yes.
I have a question. Has anyone looked into microdosing Tren A at 10 to 20 milligrams a day in order to gain the benefits while mitigating the neurotoxicity? And when Deck and Chuds both turn around and say it doesn't affect me because they will, I know it fucking doesn't. That's not what I asked. Fair enough. It's such a G.
Hey, you want to catch one of these, whoever you are?
And I said, there's a good fucking reason, because it comes down to the total dosage, not how you pin it. If you're pinning 600 mgs of Tren, it doesn't fucking matter how you pin it.
Yeah, it's a silly question in the sense of the less drugs you take, the less side effects you will fucking get. The more drugs you take, the more side effects you will get. That doesn't matter whether it's alcohol, cocaine, trenbolone, or test prop. If you were going to take 10 mg a day, or if you're going to take 100 mg a day, you're going to get more fucking side effects with 100 mg a day than you are with 10 mg a day.
Can I just
it's
say
not
as
even a
well,
question.
and I think this is like where certain parts go over people's heads, and we are always very transparent on this. This is the only bit that fucking bores my piss. He says 10 to 20 milligrams a day. I've explicitly stated I've never gone over 150 meg a week. That is roughly 20 meg a day. And this is kind of what I'm getting at. Like, we're not, we said I'll take a gram of test, but I don't experience those side effects. But obviously, we are aware we have to manage those dosages to mitigate things like he is explaining. So it's not like I'm saying I'm banging 750 meg of Tren a week and I have no fucking neurotoxicity issues. I'm not touching those doses. I'm doing your microdoses you're talking about, and I pin them daily. It's the exact thing he's saying, you know?
Yeah.
And I have taken 600 Megatren, and it definitely fucks with my sleep. Definitely.
Do you know what I was actually talking to my training partner about today? Slightly off topic, but do you know whenever I take Masteron, yeah, because my Masteron's at a gram at the moment, but I don't normally overthink things, yeah. But do you know when I'm on Masteron, bro, I overthink stuff a lot. Like when I go to Tesco's and I talk to someone, I'm like, oh, was that a bit rude? When I come out, I'm like, did I talk to that person right? Oh, was he being a dick to me? I just start overthinking. It's the only drug that does it to me.
That's why I
MPP
like
don't do it to me.
that is the equivalent of MPP. It makes me like second guess myself. Like, am I okay? Am I alright? Do I feel alright? Am I a bit down? Am I a bit happy? Like, it's a
No,
bit
I'm
weird.
not. I'm not. I almost like if I just talk to someone nicely, I'll go home and be like, did I talk to them nicely or was I a prick?
Yeah, I wonder if that's got something to do with. So, we know that Masteron improves your your ability to recruit neurons and motor neurons, and it
Yeah.
improves your technical ability.
Cognitive
So
function, innit?
well, yeah, so if it's improving the way that your nerves can fire, right? Because it's a drug that can improve technique, so it can improve your technique and things, your technique in lifting. Then there's obviously a potential pathway there for it to be playing on the way your mind works in the same sort of way, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
if it's improving your body's ability to function and to move in certain ways, then maybe it's causing your mind to change in certain ways like that.
And
Because all
overthink
drugs,
shit, yeah.
yeah,
I can also
possibly,
clarify,
yeah.
Riz, you were definitely rude to that person. 100% without fail. You were definitely rude.
But I'm rarely ever rude, to be honest.
Bro, you are rude.
No,
I seen you
fuck
order.
off.
I seen you order food, bro. You were about to smack the dude for saying, "Do you want a drink?"
No, bro. That day when I rang up the takeaway, can I get what did I say? Can I get a lamb filly? What meat you want? I just said fucking lamb, you dumb bitch. Stupid twat. Stupid twat.
I've got a better version of this question, which I think is going to be more helpful for people. What are the actual real life benefits of microdosing PEDs in general?
Go on then, Dick, because you've already touched on it.
Yeah, anecdotal evidence for me, it completely changed my mindset in totality. I have never felt as healthy on blast as when I switched to daily injections. Now, like I said, I backload slim pins, I pin daily, I pin post-workout on an evening before bed because someone didn't believe we actually did that on the comments on the last YouTube video. And what I just noticed is I could psychologically tell that I wasn't seeing these peaks and valleys anymore. I wasn't seeing a drop off. I just felt extremely stable. I was aromatizing less, which is very visible in blood work. I aromatize anyway, I can tell that. I just felt generally a lot more stable. Yeah, it was massive improvements for me. Huge.
But my only argument, Deck, is right. If you pin every single day, just to like argue back, yeah, for the sake of it. When you pin every day, your body doesn't make test every single day at 50 mgs every single day. That's my argument. But
it's not 50 megs, but I understand what you're saying. But it
not every day is not going to be the exact same. Your teeth is not going to be the exact same. Are peaks and troughs not good as well?
No, because that's how you get, as an example.
Do you know what I'm trying to say, right?
When you go into a teen, you get pubertal gynecomastia. That's what that's from. It's where you're having a natural shift in hormones. You can still have estrogen-related side effects from that. So ultimately, what we're doing is we are optimizing that delivery of exogenous testosterone. So
yeah.
I suppose even more so than the human body is, because I'm pinning at exact same time. So I'm removing those peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
You find it's that much more beneficial than if you were to just pin Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Are you getting so much extra benefit, but you get all the negative of having to pin yourself every day?
Not necessarily for me, but clients who have estrogen-related side effects, massive, huge benefits. People that needs AIs, tamoxifen for gyno, things like that. People who have quite heavy mood swings or anxiety-related issues from anabolics. I find when I shift them to daily PEDs. Another one as well is acne flare-ups. People who are predisposed to acne, if you move them to daily shots, I've seen their acne flare-ups tidy up within the space of 4 or 5 weeks. And I've also seen a client recently who's a bit of a spaz. He's going to know who he is because he watches this. He has severe acne, and it was something we monitored when we put him on his first cycle. We started 250 mega test. He was doing fantastic. We had zero breakouts. We managed to introduce 150 mega primo and increase the test to 300 daily shots, no problem at all. The idiot gets a girlfriend. He's staying at her 4 or 5 times a week. He's missing shots every other day. Texts me, he sends me a picture. I said, "What the fuck's up with your skin? I guarantee you're not sticking to your diet, you're missing your shots." So he comes back and said, "No, sticking to my diet, but I have been missing injections frequently all the time." And I think
I was,
that just shows on the other end of it what will happen.
I was just going
I
to
think
say that. So if Hilly says to you, Deck, you got to do daily shots, you being you're going to say, fine, and you'll do it, right? But with clients, it's slightly different because they're going to miss shots and they might stick to it for I don't know, 2 weeks, and then they'll go off the shots and they won't pin for fucking 10 days because they're like, I'm sick of pinning. And then it almost gets worse. So for me, I always go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I think that's like a nice middle of the way, kind of like where everyone can stick to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday shot.
Yeah.
But you've got no
Yeah,
excuse.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I think for like 99% of people, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is the best.
Yeah.
I don't have, none of my clients do Monday, Thursday anymore. None of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it, bruv.
So I think you've got to look at why you even care about injection frequency first. Why are you even bothering looking at it, right? So if I've got a very, very base lifestyle client that doesn't really like to inject, and they're the ones that will say to me, "Listen, I only want to jab once a week," I will persuade them to do Monday and Thursday because that is better for balancing hormones. In an ideal world, I like people doing that don't have any side effects, that aren't sensitive to things, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah. Now, if I've then got somebody like what Deck's on about there that is getting a lot of sides, they have to accept that if they want to manage their side effects healthily or the healthiest way possible, then daily injections are going to be better. And for those with bad gyno, with bad skin flare-ups, they will be the ones that do it, see the benefits, and stick to it. Yeah. Now that's if we're talking about side effects. What you were saying earlier, Chuds and Riz, about the peaks and valleys being beneficial, that is very true, especially when you are looking at growing. So again, are we in a growth state or are we in a dieting state? If we are in a dieting state, then we know it is better to have more stable hormones, low E2, low prolactin, low progestin. So even for those advanced that aren't sensitive, it makes sense to have more regular dosing during a prep or a diet phase, because the less troughs, the less spike in estrogen, the less spike in prolactin, the better fat loss will be, or the less things you've got to do to bring it down. However, in terms of science and anecdotally, if you were looking to grow, right, then it is being shown, and for us that like bro science, for us that like anecdotal evidence, professional muscle that American body always talk about, there was a group of really clever guys in one of the private sections, and they would be constantly running experiments like I do, right? And they did periods of dosing all of their gear once a week, twice a week, their growth hormone once a week, do you know, to see what was going on, right? And they all categorically agreed that if you're not bothered about sides or you don't get them, dosing your gear all at once or twice a week, preferably at once, in a big ass bolus dose, without a doubt give you higher peaks, which all led to more progress or more gains.
Yeah, I can buy that.
But that obviously came with more side effects. Now, I do believe Matt Tofton has actually done this, and he got it from that very clever guy I always refer to, Broderick Chavez. Is it? I'm always worried I pronounce that
Broderick
wrong.
Chavez,
But he is a belief. You can watch it. If I've listened to loads of his stuff, he has also spoke about this. I mean, he's a big believer in, listen, you test fucking an anthe, it's got a 7-day half-life.
Yeah.
Start taking it every Monday. By the time you get to 6 weeks, you'll have the same stable as you would Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And he's probably right, but the problem with that is he also only believes in never going higher than 300 milligrams of test. So the issue there is, it's all well and good saying that for someone that's only using 300 milligrams of test. If you were using a gram of test and you jab that every Monday, that shit's going to hurt in terms of sides. So, but on the flip side to that, you jab a fucking gram of test on a Monday, right? And the increase in testosterone and estrogen that you are going to see in terms of a peak and a spike is going to be way higher at one point than you are going to see from 300 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So if it is about spikes, which it is, peaks, then actually dosing your gear less frequently in a higher dose, from what I have seen anecdotally with these very clever gentlemen that like to run experiments, they all reported run your gear once a week, all of the dosing. And then you've got someone like Broderick Chavez, who is one of the cleverest men in bodybuilding, in my opinion. He's also backing that up, and he is getting his clients to do so. And I do believe Matt Tofton was then getting some of his clients to do the same thing in their off season, wasn't he, Riz? So,
Yeah.
so there is. But again, this is, well, can you handle the side effects to then make it worth the extra growth that comes with it? Because if you switch to once a week jabs and all of a sudden Deck's mood drops down and he feels like shit, such and such a skin blows up and goes fucking all over the place.
There's no point,
Such and such as blood pressure's that high he can't eat. But that doesn't then mean that you need to do daily dosing. Right, well then do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And again, it comes back to everything I say. It's that what is happening with you as a person and what are you trying to achieve? Everybody in prep is trying to achieve slightly lower E2 levels, slightly lower prolactin, stable hormones. That is a better environment for fat loss. So really, more frequent dosing in prep is going to be better for everybody. Now in a growth phase, sorry Riz, 2 minutes. In a growth phase, Monday, Wednesday and Friday just always made sense to me. If my oil gets too high, I'll do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't like to jab year round, I just don't. But I've tried doing all of my jabs on one day and it just felt shitty. It didn't feel good enough to reap the rewards from potentially doing it. So that's the science part of it, the reasoning part of it, the anecdotal part of it, and the what you might be.
I'm just trying to picture now, if you're running a gram of test and a gram of primo, the fucking horse tranquilizer barrel you'd have to use to slam 13 mil of
That's
gear
what
in
I'm
there.
saying, bro. But listen, when Ed was doing his off season about a year ago with Matt, or over a year ago, they were pinning all the gear every 5th day or every 6th day. Oh, some bullshit like that. It was just every 5th day. So there was no set day to pin. One day might be Monday, one might be fucking Thursday, and it kept changing. But he grew really well on that.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was, when it comes to microdosaging, I think when you're in a prep and you're now on a total 20 mil a fucking week, yeah, I think that's when it makes a lot of sense doing daily jabs. Instead of putting fucking 3 mil here, 3 mil there one day, you're splitting it. You know, you're trying to get the most in a slim pin and just pin it daily.
It's just for me as well. It's pip plus. Like honestly, I haven't had any pip since I started doing this. Like I've explained before. Like I backload a slim pin. It works out like around 1.3 mil a day. I pop that in boiling hot water. I slam it in any muscle group, like pecs, delt, lat, rear delts, quads, whatever, and I feel nothing of it because the volume's so small. And like I said, I'll split either side, so that dosage is then split again into 2 slim pins. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'll do half in each quad, or half in each delt, or half in each pec, and I just don't get any pip whatsoever. Like it's completely changed the game for me because I used to get some heavy pip in my lats.
I've not pinned my glutes, for about a good 6 months now, and my back pain's gone better when I do exercises.
Oh really?
Not.
That's what
I was pinning them all the time.
I always get like lower back pain when I pin my glutes. That's why I never pin my glutes.
You know, I've never pinned my glutes once in my life, ever,
Fuck off.
never once.
What, even your
It's
first
just-
cycle?
Where did I pin first? Quads.
Yeah. Huh?
Quads was the first one I ever pinned
Fucking hell, really?
because I wanted to be able to see
Why
it.
was everyone went glutes? Everyone always went glutes, right?
I've been doing ventro glute for a long time, but bro, I can't even do that. It's just so fucked, man. Years of jabbing it, bro.
I avoided glutes for years and years and years, and I started doing them again this prep. I think just because they were so fresh and it was so easy. Then I stopped about 3 or 4 weeks out, but I just wasn't getting any lumps from it. I wasn't
Yeah.
getting any bumps from it.
Yeah.
It was going in so easy. But I think just because I hadn't done them for so long, it was just easy.
I find with my doubts, bro, it doesn't matter how much I pin them, yeah? It just doesn't get a build up of scar tissue, bro. The same as my glutes did.
I
guess that's
definitely,
just...
even now, because like I said, I stopped pinning delts for a long time. Even though I pin them, I don't know if it's just my head, but man, I swear when I see the mirror, I can see it. I can see like the oil. Do you know what I mean? I look at, it, I'm like, that don't look right.
I've said before, even if I put 500,000 in my delts, even if I put 500,000 in my delts, I get a lump. Doesn't matter what I do, I get a lump no matter.
I've been finding the rear delt really good. D put in 1.7 mil yesterday, my rear delt, with a 5/8 orange, and I got no pip.
Rear delt's really good.
Rear delts are wicked, bro. You feel nothing.
Yeah, my missus can't get it right. She definitely hits it wrong. So I do the whole wrist trick now. Like I like pose it. She puts her finger on it, but then it just doesn't feel
Yeah,
comfortable.
I
now
do
when she does
this.
it.
Dee puts her finger on the thing, on my rear delt, the tiny little rear delt that I got, and then she just pins
Yeah,
it.
but you've met Daisy, like, you know what I mean? I know she's probably just looking at the trap and just fucking darting that bastard in there for fun.
Yeah, Dee wants it in my lap, bro. I said to her, yo, do it up here. She pinned it down here, bro. I was fucked.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well,
as well, like sometimes you'll pin a muscle and you'll get load of pip, and then next time you'll pin it again, same amount of oil,
Totally fine.
same thing, and you just never get any pip, and it's like, what the fuck? Like you can't, it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
Have you ever had it where you pin something and when you pin it, it's quite a painful, it hurts, yeah?
Pull out.
But
If
the next,
it hurts, I pull out.
I keep pushing in, I'm like, fuck it, it's in
Yeah,
now.
I
I get it
I
in,
keep
yeah?
pushing.
And sometimes the next day, there's no pain at all. But the one that was smooth, pain.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird,
That's
man.
true. I've had that.
But I only use 5/8 all year round now. I don't use anything longer.
I use the little
I use an
fucking
inch.
yeah. I use the tiny little baby ones. Like I where I pin, I'm fairly lean. My legs are always pretty lean. My lats are lean. My delts are always pretty lean. I can get the little ones in without an issue.
I wish you could pin Subq. It'd be so easy, bruv.
I think you can. I was even like Fuad's had that really cool young lad on his podcast a couple of times. He works for that More Plates, More
yeah.
Dates guy. Put himself through his like doctor school really late in life, but he's still a young lad type thing. And he said the only reason bodybuilders pin intramuscularly is for the aesthetic purpose that we talk about, is the oil in the muscle.
Nah, bruv.
This is what he said.
He must be deluded, bro. Listen, you tried to pin 2 mil, yeah,
No,
or
he
even a
didn't
mil
say
of
that.
sus or something.
He didn't say that. He said
What's he
about
saying then?
TRT for TR. He said, well,
Oh,
that's kind of
TRT,
what
yeah.
Nick's saying. Obviously, bodybuilders can't do that because we pin a shitload of oil.
Yeah. Then I agree. Yeah, I get what you mean.
If you're doing TRT, you could, like, let's say you're doing what, 0.5, 0.6 TRT, or even 0.7. That's only 0.1 a day, you know.
I might try it when I drop down to full blown pussy ass cruise with the babies there. I might start pinning
I
it.
will.
So yeah, see what it's like.
When I next move to proper TRT, I'm going to try Subq because it will literally be 0.15 on a slim pin daily.
Well, that's
Fuck all, innit?
because Fuad, if you watch his podcast, he's a fucking nightmare. He just misses injections all the times for fun. Like he'll pin one every 3 weeks or whatever, and he's just loaded a full slim barrel up with test, puts it beside his bed with next to his blood pressure medication. Like you said, Hilly, it's like 0.1 whatever, and he just sticks it in his stomach. And he said he felt fantastic ever since.
Yeah, fucking doddle. It's just what I've found with clients that have tried it. As soon as they've tried to do 0.5 Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 0.4 of stuff daily, instant welts, instant issues. I think it's you've got to be accepting that 0.2 is probably your limit for the site.
Yeah, because if I remember when this kind of blew up, do you remember it was the John Jewett piece? They were saying around 2 mil or something was good Subq. I couldn't fucking imagine that, mate.
Sometimes
No,
John Jewett chat shit, bruv.
I still bang his missus
No,
though.
if you if you put in a mil of oil in your fat, you're a fucking idiot, and it's as simple as that.
And that
Like,
will take forever to fucking absorb.
Yeah, fuck
Bro,
that.
I've pinned my glute before and totally fucked it, yeah? And it's gone Subq, bro. It's not nice. You're left with this massive fucking blotch, yeah? It takes about 2 weeks to fucking go, bro.
What's
Fuck
the
that.
worst pinning experience you've had?
Do you know what? Touch wood, I haven't. I can't think of a bad shot. I can't think of a. And like I said,
I had a pretty traumatic experience. So where I used to pin my quads, I didn't realize it at the time. I had a little bit of tension on my foot, so I thought my quad was relaxed, if that makes sense. So my foot was resting on the floor. So what happens is once the muscle gets penetrated, it relaxes itself anyway. It goes in a state of shock and relaxes. It snapped the needle, but not from the plastic. It snapped the needle. This was like back in my early days, but what I managed to do, I'm no joke, it snapped the needle and I had it in my hand so I could see like the bottom end of the snap needle like in my quad, and I managed to push it out like a splinter and then grab it. And it was a fucking, thankfully at the time, because I'm a fucking animal, I was using greens. So it was a proper
You
thick
dirty
pipe. It was a
bastard.
Capri Sun. So I just grabbed it and pulled the fucker out.
Bro, once I pinned my quad in prep, I remember with Hilly's prepping me, yeah. He's prepping me. I must have pinned my quad, so I was like, yeah, bare lean. Got a slim pin, yeah. Put it in my quad, because I asked him, how'd you pin him? And he told me. And as I pulled the pin out, it bent inside my leg. So I was pulling it, and I was, do you know like how you put like a nose piercing or something? I sort of angle it out. I want to get it out. I was all shaking and all hot. I was like, fucking hell. That was the scary one, bro.
I think the worst one I had, right, it wasn't actually a bad jab in the sense it crippled me afterwards, right? I think I was in a hotel with an old girlfriend, right? And I jabbed a Rip Blend or something. So I had Tren Ace in it. And it gave me Tren cough. But do you know when you get that odd jab when you take it out and it sprays?
Oh,
Yeah.
Right? So I must have put it in my ass cheek, right? And then when I've pulled it out, it's sprayed out into this hotel room. So as I'm trying to calm her down, because there's blood spraying all over this hotel room, I then start getting Tren cough at the same fucking time. So I'm like, I'm choking, right? I'm going, "Ugh." While I'm trying to stop this bleeding. She's got a phone out calling fucking 999, and I'm trying to say, put the fucking phone down while I'm hanging out the window while I'm trying. Oh, mate, it was the worst thing.
You're trying to
Mate,
breathe, yeah.
That is such a true
Yeah.
fact, though, isn't it? Because you don't realise how bad Tren cough is until you've actually had Tren cough. Like, I've had it like a little bit, and then I had one bad bout once, mate. It was, remember when I bought those really expensive original Parabolans? Mate, that shit, it smelt like Tren cough, and I remember I pinned my lap once. Daisy came into the toilet. I'm on my hands and knees, covered in sweat, coughing my guts up. It was fucking horrid.
Mate, I was hanging out this window, right? Blood splurting out my ass, going. It was the worst Tren cough I've ever had, and that's only the second time I've ever had blood splurt out. The other time was my delt, and it was when I lived at my mum's and went all, yeah.
Always.
And it went up the wall in my bedroom, and I was like, how am I going to get this off before my fucking mum sees it?
I always get Tren cough from Ace. I never get it from E, ever.
Yeah, I think it is just Ace that you get it off, to be honest, for whatever reason. But I've used Tren for a long time, because obviously I've been doing this a long time, and I've been up to 600 mig a week, and I didn't see any benefit at that dose over 300, if I'm honest, not at all.
Yeah.
And I've tried it with Ananthate, and I've tried it with Ace, and we all know people have been higher than that as well. But personally, for me, I mean, as you all know, my sleep goes to shit in prep anyway. I'm only getting 4 or 5 hours now. During prep, as you boys know, I was getting 2 or 3 for the last 8 weeks. But
You're up to 4 now.
3 to 6. Yeah, I'm up to 4. I'm buzzing. But 3 to 6 is like 3 to 600 milligram didn't do anything for me really. Just give me more sides. I didn't notice a big shift in body comp change or anything dramatic or.
See, my sleep never ever. I think I'm just a very deep sleeper, right? Nothing fucks my sleep. The only thing that fucked it was DMP, and I was waking up just in pools and pools of sweat. Even then, I probably would not have got up.
I sweat, but I sleep straight. I mean, Hilly always used to text me in prep, like, how you sleeping, mate? I was getting like my full 8 hours. It's
Yeah, yeah.
just a sweat, man. Waking up in that first hour of the morning and like there's a breeze from the window and you feel like you've pissed the bed and it's the most uncomfortable hour of your life. You have to get
It
up.
just stinks, man, isn't it, as well, when you're on
Yeah,
train,
and
man.
the
Nice.
Tren as well. It just smells like fucking piss. Ammonia.
Do you know something
Question?
I heard about orals, just before I forget? I can't remember who even fucking said it, but basically they said when you're taking orals, don't take your liver support with it, because you don't want a healthy liver. You want your liver to be fucked, basically, when you're taking orals, so then you get more out of your orals and you're not like, your liver doesn't, you're basically not.
No, I think
Sorry, Carmus.
I think someone's got the literature confused there, yeah? What I think they're trying to say is you shouldn't use orals when you're using Tudka, yeah? Because it counteracts it a little bit, the way that they both work. That's to what I know. Don't know the science to it, but I know that.
I think Chudley's just saying some guy's off his fucking tits and he thinks that makes sense.
So he was saying you don't want to use health, like liver support, because you basically, if your liver's healthy, it breaks down the orals and you're using, you know.
I can't wait till that comes in hospital in about 2 months' time.
Who said it? But it was on Instagram. I read it.
Fucking hell.
He definitely, he's
Like,
definitely
Wait
chatting shit.
until his liver enzymes are like 9 million, so he jumps on a cycle. He's like, I'm getting gains, bro.
Right, now my liver's stressed past the
I think
oxygen.
it might have been Phil Viz. I think it might have been Phil Viz.
Mate,
Well, that wouldn't surprise me.
that cunt needs harpooning, honestly. If anybody supports Phil Viz and that fucking Victor Black, go and remove yourself from the planet, man.
Do you know what it is with Phil Viz? He's actually quite a knowledgeable guy, bro,
But
yeah?
it doesn't matter. I don't
It's
give
the
a
way
fuck.
it comes across.
Rolf Harris was a fantastic children entertainer until he shagged kids. Like, it's not fucking normal. Like, I don't understand how you can read his content with the way his like narcissistic mind is about things and buy into, no matter how factual it is. The same with Victor Black. I don't understand how a human being go, look, this guy makes sense and I'm going to listen to him, when you understand the things that he's saying. Like, he invented steroids, basically. He invented the safer cycle model. Like, it's fucking nonsense.
The thing with Phil Viz is, like, he constantly fires at JP, but it's not, he tries to find the fault in other people to get views.
Yeah.
Because right now, JP, look, whether you like JP or not, yeah, the guy's probably the biggest. The JP could drink piss, yeah, and a man in the UK will start drinking piss, bruv, yeah. That's how influential he is, and he's trying to do anything to get likes.
But, you know, it really exposes people when they're not actually smart, when they do things like that. Like, he picked on JP with a back row, and JP
Prime.
was so accurate in his information, but what he'd done is jump to a conclusion rather than understanding what JP was saying, created a narrative, and then slapped on Instagram and made himself look very silly in about 10 minutes.
And what's very apparent when I was reading through that is, like, Jordan, everybody knows me and Jordan are very close, and we have been for a long period of time. The kid has got no attitude, no arrogance, right? He is the nicest person on the planet, and he has never once tried to get any fame. It's why everybody loves him. He has never once clicked onto sponsors. He has never once clicked onto anybody's back. That kid is the most self-made person on the fucking planet, right? And then for someone like Phil Viz to try and sit there and find any sort of fault in someone like that, the people that then tore Phil Viz a new arsehole because of it, like, the amount of people that did just goes to show how stupid Phil Viz is. Like, he looked at the most stupidest thing to try and pick fault, made it, and this is I agree with Riz. A lot of Phil Viz's info, right, is actually really fucking good. The kid's done loads of self-experimentation, loads of everything else. That kid is a clever kid, and he has a lot of good information. Unfortunately, everything has to be about himself and how good he is and this and that. And, like, it's a shame, because I watch a lot of his stuff now, and I always have done, because there is loads of great information. He's done loads of self-experimentation. He's walked the walk. He talks the talk. It's all fucking great. It's just this huge, big wad of arrogance that comes with it, or doing shit like that then just pulls him down all the time. Such a shame.
It's people that use other people, like slate other people to get attention. That's what I like. So that's Victor Black, right? Every post is he'll say, well, so-and-so is an idiot. You should do it this way. And it's like, you don't have to slate other people, you know?
Yeah.
It's like in the UK, it's like supplement companies, right? Or people flagging off other supplement companies to make theirs look better.
Right.
Like, oh, they don't tell you this, or oh, they've put this in because of this. We don't because of this. And it's like, if you've got to pull people down to climb up, you're either not very good at your job or your product's shit. Because actually, if you just focus on being the best version of you, and you are good at what you do, then you'll climb up and succeed because you're fucking good. That's what you're saying, Charlie. You shouldn't have to pull people down to get a step ahead. It's like pathetic, do you know what I mean?
If you flip that context on its head, it's like if your supplement you have made works, people will buy it. This is the bit that I can't understand about Victor Black. You can regurgitate every fucking bit of literature and science experiment on rats all you want, okay? Or old men who have cancer, that's great. But show me your clients. Who have you done it to? Well, who does it work with? Like, you have no... And same with Phil Viz. Like, he's had endless opportunities with very high-level clients. They do one show. I could go back to James Hollinshead, Steve Laureus. All of these people have all binned him off.
Jamie Giant. Yeah,
it's exactly the same thing. It's because you may be able to talk it, but there is a time when it's important for people to understand this. Anecdotal evidence, 99.9% of the time, will supersede the literature. That is just fact.
Yeah.
It's like, look at Victor Black, yeah. If you go onto his Instagram, it's just full of fucking analytical data. It makes no sense to 99% people. Oh, that makes sense to me.
He talks in riddles, bro. He talks in like riddles. Like, it's like he's got paranoid schizophrenia and he's talking to his invisible mate.
Yeah, bro. What's mad is, yeah,
it's that superiority complex that people just don't like it.
Yeah.
And then
what's mad is
argues with like people that are like beginners or something. You know, someone will say something to him and he'll put their picture up and he'll be like, so and so looks like that. And it's, you know, he'll just go and fucking argue with people that aren't even like good at anything.
Victor Black taught Joe Jeffries a lot, yeah? And then within like 3 years, Joe Jeffrey doing his own thing, Victor Black sending for him as well. He's ripping Joe Jeffrey as well. It shows you what his character is.
That's where we've got credit Joe Jeffries. That's where we've got credit Joe Jeffries. Like,
yeah,
he
rate
took
him,
that
mate.
knowledge and marketed it. Like, this is what Victor Black is unable to do. He was able to get the client to show how those method works. It's the same as John Jewett. Victor Black can't do that, so he resents them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you think of Joe Jeffrey, right? At the end of the day, he's still a bit of fucking business. And he's still
impressive business. A very impressive business.
And he still has very, very good people who compete and they're in shape. Victor Black, no one. At least Joe Jeffrey doesn't fucking start gunning JP and gunning all these people. He just does his thing, carries on. You know what I mean?
And that's what Victor doesn't like, is that he seems to think that because they learned from him and then took that stuff to be successful, they all owe him. He went for Cal, he went for Joe, and it's like, listen, like a good teacher is proud of what their students become. A good teacher doesn't expect a fucking tag every time the says something, because what's important, and again, this is what Cal did very well, this is what Joe Jeffrey did, this is what everybody does. I learned a lot of my stuff from people like Scott Stevenson, and it goes on and on, but you learn the information, and AJ, who I've worked with now, you learn what they do. You understand what they do. You take the science, you take their anecdotal stuff, and then you become to understand it. And then you take the parts that you like, the parts that you don't, and you create your own. It's what Cal did. Cal learnt loads from Victor Black. He says this categorically. Joe Jeffrey did, but Joe Jeffrey and Cal don't do the same shit.
No.
Do you know what I mean? They do, but that, instead of where Victor Black should be like, here, what you've got to look at is, you learn information off me, and this is how successful you can become. That's what he should have done. That would have been the clever move. Look how successful these coaches have become because they learn some of this from me. No, he wants a little kiss on his arse cheek every time someone fucking repeats something that he told them. Yeah. And that's not what a real teacher does. It's not what a real person does. Do you know what I mean?
Because like, Hilly taught me pretty much everything over 6 years, right? and obviously I took what I like and I made it my approach. Do you know what I mean? He don't send for me. He don't say, "Oh, Riz is copying my approach."
Well,
You know what I
imagine
mean?
that. Every time Riz mentions something, what does he have to do? Hashtag Hilly in it. Just to keep me fucking sweet. Like
I did that. I did that for 6 years. It's enough for me.
it's a mentally ill mindset is actually what it is.
That's
To
what I mean.
even because if you're a teacher, if you enjoy teaching, if you have an educational setup, you can't then expect. What does that mean? Every lecturer that at uni that taught anybody, every bit of work they do is owed to them. Don't be a fucking moron. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like fucking hell. Is every one of Bill Gates' teachers at school owed a percentage of his fucking Microsoft company?
Yeah.
Like, fucking, are you out of your mind? Like, where's the mindset in that?
That's the bit that perplexes me, is when people side with it. That's the bit that I can't grasp, is people can't see that bit, and that makes me think negative about those individuals who are part of his tribe, as he calls it. You know?
Oh fuck him. The
He hasn't
prick
got
anyway,
that
he's a
much of
knob.
a following, though, has he? And the people
No.
that do, they make fun of him most of the time. If you look
Bro,
at his
right now,
people abuse him, and people just, kind of just.
he just blocks you. He just
blocked.
blocks
Yeah,
you.
him and Phil Viz both blocked me because I made a funny joke.
We'll all be blocked after this anyway, so it's
Yeah.
all right.
I
We're
think I
covering
said,
anything else, boys?
would you rather catch hepatitis or be locked in a room with Phil Viz and Victor Black and tag them both? They both blocked me.
Definitely get hepatitis, my bro.
100%. I've got a cool question here. The worst excuse you've heard a client give as to why they haven't stuck to their diet.
Oh.
I've got a good one off the top of my head because I read it earlier and it sticks with me, and I fucking grilled the bastard for it. He said to me that to drive home it was going to be 15 minutes, so it was going to be 10 minutes over the anabolic window, so you had to stop and get a Greg's at the services.
That wasn't me though.
Riz.
Fucking hell. Nah, fucking hell. People chat shit, bro. I'm
Don't
trying to
know,
think,
to be
man.
honest.
There's loads, but it's just like, what's the worst,
Yeah.
I mean, what are the typical ones? The typical ones, like, you forget your food at home, so you've got to fucking get a Greg's or something, one's like that, or like you couldn't do your shopping, or
For me, in this day and age, there's just no acceptable
There's
excuses
not.
anymore.
I completely agree with Hilly. Like,
There's
it's
fu-
so easy to
like,
the macros anywhere.
yeah,
I say this all the time now, and it's what I learned over the years because I've been doing this so long. Is I set my meal plans up, right? I give a lot of cooked weights, and the reason for that is I do believe that cooked or raw is just as accurate. Don't think it makes my bit of difference, right? But also, if you give someone cooked, right, they can go into any service station now, any pub, any restaurant, any supermarket, and buy fucking cooked chicken, right? You can eyeball it. You can't do that with raw.
Prawns.
You can buy packs of cooked chicken. Like, nowadays, right? I can go to any fast food place and get grilled chicken and salad.
Yep.
I can go into any garage and get cooked chicken and salad. I can go into any supermarket. I can get couscous that I had a fucking kettle that I need boiling water to. I can get cream of rice that I need boiling water to. So for me now, like, there is just not one excuse. It is just whether you're willing to go and get it or you fucking not.
When I used to do like deliveries and that for that old takeaway when I was younger, and I was working with Hilly, he'd be like, "Right, I want a chicken salad meal, yeah." And I used to be like, "Yeah, fuck it." I used to just go Subway, get plain chicken tikka and salad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I think
What's
a good thing for people to do as well is.
No, go on.
There you go.
What's like? Should we give like a couple of like good tips about certain things you can sort of pre-prep that you can always have on hand? So, for example, I'll always carry a couple of shaker bottles full of like whey protein in my car, so I'll always have protein. At least I've got my protein on hand, and then you can always walk into a fucking Sainsbury's, right, and get a couple of bagels or, whatever, and maybe some prawns or some cooked chicken, and that's a meal.
Bro, honest to God, yeah, people who say they miss a meal, and the thing is, you can miss a meal and replace it with something decent, and you can miss a meal and have something like KFC, yeah? It's taking a fucking piss. When I was younger, I used to take tuna cans with me everywhere, bro. If I'm having tuna 6 times, I have tuna 6 times. Fuck it. Do you know what I mean?
As well, because I am not a fan of if it fits your macros. And I got about 5 or 10 clients who are lifestyle people who I do it because I trust them. My problem with if it fits your macros, I think it can turn to a poor relationship with food, with banking calories. But that doesn't mean, like, as an example, if Hilly sets my meals out, I always know what my macros are for those meals. So, and it's the easiest thing to do wherever I am. And people were mocking me the other day because I was out with my extremely heavily pregnant girlfriend and she got £9 million worth of McDonald's. And I was sat in the car with 7 rice cakes and 200 grams of chicken. It's because I know what my macros are. I don't want to cheat on my diet. So I just match the rice cakes up, which is exactly the same as rice. And then I'll just have a cold packet of chicken and make little sandwiches out of the rice and chicken. Same with bread. Bread's not a terrible carb source. Make a fucking sandwich with no butter on. But I will just say it, like, I would rather a client say to me, and any of you motherfuckers do this on the weekend, I will beat you up. I would rather say to you, look, I just fancied a KFC. I just wanted a McDonald's. I was just felt like a fat bastard, and I just went off plan and had a bucket to myself. I would rather you say that than make up some nonsense excuse of why you couldn't get chicken and prawns, because I effectively live it every day. I do it every day.
Bro, all of my female clients, when they fuck up, they say, Riz, I just wanted to eat it, so I eat it. The blokes chat shit. It's the blokes that chat shit, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I say this very clearly to our clients. Listen, I am not your fucking dad, right? If you decide you want to have something off plan, you do so. You tell me. So I had a client the other week. I was like, right, this 2 weeks, I don't want you to have an off plan meal. And it was like, it's my birthday, or it was something, and I'm meant to be doing this. I was like, listen, you don't need to ask me. I'm not your dad. I was like, I just give my recommendations, as it is my job, to what will bring the most amount of progress. If you decide that you want to go and get absolutely lit with the lads on a Saturday, as long as you accept that progress will slow that week because of it, and you're happy with that, that's fine. It is my job then to make the adaptations in 2 weeks, and obviously this isn't people on prep and stuff, and then just to go back to what you were saying actually about easy things, a very easy thing I do with my 12-week plan clients or lifestyle clients is half a pack of microwave basmati rice is 180 calories. Just under a cup of cooked rice is 150 calories. Half a pack of Ainsley Harriet or Tesco's own couscous that you add hot water to is about 180 calories, and a medium 225 gram jacket potato is about 180 calories. So for people working in offices, on work sites, a medium to large pita or wrap is 180 calories. All of those foods are interchangeable. So when I have just got general lifestyle clients that are, working offices that don't want to be 100% or they need a bit of variety, their meal plans will say 150 grams cooked rice, or half a pack of microwave basmati rice, or half a pack of Ainsley Harriet couscous, or one large wholemeal pita, in brackets, 180 to 200 calories. Like, these are foods that, whether you work away, whether you stay in a hotel, whether you work on a building site, you can create 3 different meals over 5 days of the week, and all you need is a microwave and a fucking kettle.
And then you can't say you get bored of it as well, because that's something that a lot of clients say, well, I got bored of eating this.
Yeah, you've got couscous, you've got jacket potato, you can make the potato into potato fucking wedges, you can make the rice. Riz, you on mute.
You can have like 10 combinations, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, easy. And then I give 150 grams of cooked chicken or turkey, which is usually a 200 gram cooked raw breast that's been cooked down, because most packs of cooked chicken in a supermarket are 160 grams. That is also the same as one large tin of fucking tuna. Like these, when I design my lifestyle client plans like this, the psychological reason is there is now no fucking excuses. Because like I say, when I've been doing this for so long, what I found, obviously not with the likes of us, but with lifestyle clients, 12-week plans, a lot of my clients are high-flying business people that hire me to optimize their hormones and streamline their lives. For me to then say to them, right, I want you to have 135 grams of jasmine rice and 170 grams of chicken, that shit doesn't fly. Do you know what I mean? They need something that... I have clients that work offshore that take big packs of microwave rice with them. I have guys that work in Dubai or in Qatar that need things that they can just make at the office Make on a morning that are easy. And it's my job as a coach to create a meal plan that suits them. It isn't their job as a client to start changing their entire fucking lifestyle so that they're getting a rice cooker out and they're cooking batches of chicken, or they're weighing each meal raw. Oh, have I got 50 grams of rice? Oh, have I got 225 grams of raw chicken? Oh, no, I can't cook today. What am I going to do? Because all my food's raw. Like, I'm fucked, you know what I mean? That isn't coaching.
No.
What coaching is what can I do to make sure that this meal plan slots into your life?
That's
my
why
job as a coach.
I always ask all clients when they start, what is your job?
Oh,
That's like such an important question. What is your job? What do you do? Are you active? And then I base it from there.
I
think,
just to touch on a point that Hilly made there, which is a real biggie, and it comes back to why it's really important to be honest. I found we can all gauge with a client when they're very serious, can't we? We know they're ticking the boxes. You see that in progress when diet or pushing up. It's really important to be honest, because I also find that there's normally triggers around where those cheat meals are coming in, and if they're being honest, which sometimes can be like, say, post legs as an example. They are really hammering themselves post legs, and then they're getting hunger signaling for because they're depleted of glycogen, so they're going in to get a KFC or McDonald's on the way home. That gives me the ability to understand like what point that's happening. So potentially like an increased food, or put a high day in around those higher volume days, or potentially reduce volume of the training day. Like there's so many points where honesty comes into this, where if you're transparent with your coach, it gives you the best opportunity to progress.
Yeah. Do you know a client just says, look, I'm really struggling, and they just be 100% on it, but I'm really hungry. Then you know to change shit. When they don't tell you, it's very hard. Because you're just making changes for no reason.
And they don't realize we can see it. Like I know when you're lying to me. Like within 4 seconds, I know by looking at their pictures how short some of the wording is around how they stuck to their diet, how those weeks been, that sort of stuff. Like it's so obvious. Like scale weight jumping up. Like we know. And I know we speak from a very different narrative in the sense that we're all pretty fucked and very autistic, and we know what the plan is. We follow it to a T. But that also gives us the ability to understand from my perspective, if there's a jump in weight, I know I've done something. I don't see those jumping weights. I don't see those fluctuations and changes. So I know if you're seeing them, you are doing something that is not on that plan.
Bro, I once had a client, I remember this shit set me fucking mental, would not drop weight every week. And I'd say to him, we can have a cheat meal every week, right? Because this was the deal with him, right?
I remember this guy.
Follow the fucking plan. Bro, we dropped like 15 kilo. 20 kilo, he looked wicked. He wanted to get the extra bit off, right? I went, right, look, just 1 week, no cheat meal. He couldn't do that. So he started giving me one cheat meal. I went, bro, it's got to be a good cheat meal that's whole food. Ideally, just one meal, then go to bed. And he kept saying to me, oh, yeah, I had a small cheat meal. And one day I goes, what the fuck did you eat? Oh, small cheat meal. I goes, what the fuck did you eat? And D was like, leave him. I goes, nah. I goes, fuck this. I'm fucking going to ask him around, what you eating? And I made him swear on God, and then I was going to swear on God right now, because I know he's religious, And bro, the list come out. Oh my fucking God. Bro, it went from like this, bruv, to like fucking this. And I was like, bruv, you're taking the fucking piss, mate. 7 cans of Coke. Who the fuck drinks 7 cans of Coke? Who the fuck eats 7 sandwiches, bro? Are you fucking mad? Bro, it was mad, because I sent him to Hilly and Deck. I was like, what the fuck?
It was nuts.
And,
it was just a list of food.
Bro, my mind was so fucked. I had to message him and goes, look, bro, I love you, we're boys, but I can't coach you anymore.
It wasn't a cheat meal, was it? It was a full cheat day, wasn't it?
No, that was...
it.
I said to him, this is not a cheat meal, this is a binge, bruv.
Yeah.
And then we were arguing about if it was a... I went, listen, it's a fucking binge, bruv. That's what that is.
You guys ever get really... Like, how much that sets you back? Because people don't think of it like that. They think, well, it's one meal or like one day, but like, they don't realise... You're like, now you've put yourself back 2 weeks with that one fucking day. Is that really worth it?
Yeah.
I
earned it. I'm going to burn it off. Fuck off. No, you're not.
Do you ever get like really frustrated with clients that they're not like seeing the benefit that we've experienced? Does that make sense? In the sense of like looking sick in the gym, being full, being really strong, like not taking the piss of the cheat meals, because they don't understand that like they can spoil it in 1 week, but if they just stick to it, they'll reap all the rewards that we see, the compliments you get, the attention you get in the gym, the progress that you make, The
honest truth is, this is the honest fucking truth, Some people cannot control what goes in their fucking mouth, and they generally they do not succeed in life either, bruv. They physically can't control what food goes in their fucking mouth. Would you trust this person with the job? Would you hire this person, bro? Or let this manage your company? No. Can't even control what fucking food they eat, bro. And most of the time, it's because their fucking wife is fat as well. Do you know what I mean? They haven't got no help, bro. Bro, I spoke to Chuds about it last time. I goes, bro, often, these people, they're both fat. Husband and wife are both fat, yeah? The wife don't want the husband to get lean because she's got confidence issues, yeah? And this spirals, bro. How common is it you always see fat husband and wife are both fat together, bro?
Yeah, and I think Dave, you might have posted on a story the other day about the importance of like before you get a coach, like understanding you have to be committed. Like don't just half-ass it. Don't waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. Like make sure.
And don't waste your money.
Yeah, and I learned this from Hilly. Like, mate, there's never a single client I've ever given a cheat meal to in the first 2 weeks. I will specifically say you are not having
Same.
a cheat meal this week, and that just indicates to me how willing they are. You know, and I think it's a good behavior trait for how the rest of the journey is going to go. You know.
And
But I
it's,
think
when you're trying to work
Go on,
out
Chips.
what a plan, like how their body works, a cheat meal is only just going to mess that up because it's like you're like, well, what's going on, you know? So I tell you what, the biggest thing that pisses me off with clients is the check-in pictures. When they go, I couldn't take my check-in pictures because my missus wasn't up to take them for me. Well, she was asleep and I couldn't take them. I'm like, what does that have to fucking do with that? Like, I said to him, look, you've got your fucking phone, yeah? You put the camera on, you record a fucking video and take the screenshots, and they're like, oh, I never thought of that.
Bro, it's so easy. Put your phone on selfie mode, put it in the fucking stand, run back. That's all I do. Piece of piss,
Hey,
bro.
if Hilly scrolled through the past 200 of my check-ins, they will be in the identical spot with identical lighting. I wake up early and late if needs be. I will push work back an hour if needs be, in the winter to make sure it's the same lighting in the same spot, the exact same poses. I have it fixed, and I've never cleaned my big mirror in the front room so I can see the ring where my sucker cup goes. So I just pop it back up there so my picture's always the same.
Well, look at me. I drive my ass down to that gym. I've been a member of that gym for 6 years. I'll do a bit of cardio in there sometimes, but I don't really train in there. I'm a member of that gym just to use the hall because it has no windows. The lighting is the same at 6 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night, and it keeps consistency. And on a Saturday or a Sunday, it doesn't fucking open till 8 o'clock. So during prep, I was up, as you boys know, at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes I was getting a high day. You know how excited you are for high days. But I would sit and wait. On the bank holidays, doesn't open till 8 o'clock. On the weekends, doesn't open till 8 o'clock. But I would sit and wait like a cunt, hungry, grumpy, so I could make sure that my pictures were the same for my coach. Because if I took them anywhere else, they didn't look the same. As a wanting to be high-level competitor, how can I expect my coach to do his job properly if every fucking week I'm sending him pictures that look completely different? This is one of the biggest pet hates to me on the planet. I get clients that are super serious that will send me a picture or a video and I'm like, are you being fucking serious? I was like, surely you've watched this back and thought, I can't see shit, you may as well be posing in the fucking dark. So what do you think I'm going to do with that? And like, it's absurd. It's absurd. And like, I can't get my head around. People will send me, I ask people to side by side their pictures so we can both see changes, you know, week to week or check in and check in. And it was only the other day. This is my biggest pet hate. I've actually done an IGTV on checking pictures and why they're important, you know, so people get it, and they still don't fucking get it. And I said back to this kid, I was like, can you see anything in the recent picture? Oh no, I noticed that. I was like, so what do you think I can see if you can't see out? You're in the fucking dark, mate.
That reminds me of my last prep with Hilly. I did my check-in photos, and I know I had a high day planned. Whilst I was doing my check-in photos, I sent Daisy to McDonald's to get my pancakes for me, and I sent him the photos, and mate, I was covered in nut butter, fucking syrup, pancakes a lot, and he just texted back and said, okay, mate, let's not do the high day today. I said, bro, you're gonna fucking hate me, mate. I'm just now fucking four pancakes in 5 fucking minutes.
And fucked, yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
I think the one big thing,
go on.
I think the one big thing that I know when a client's not going to be serious, when you send them that 2 week, when you send them a diet plan, and their first question is straight away, bro, I even do a 15-minute video showing the whole plan to them, yeah? And they'll message me back, oh, when's my first cheat meal? And I know straight away, this is a write-off. This is a cat D, bro. This is not even a cat D. They can't even claim this one back, bro. It's a write-off. It's gone.
Fucking
It needs
cat
to be
S.
crushed.
I-
Cat S is it's
I
gone.
I try and front load it though. I do try because I don't want that question because it would make me resent them. I do try and front load it and sort of say, as I do my induction, I say we will introduce cheat meals as and when applicable. So like just because I don't want them to ask that question because it will just irritate me.
My form says on it, when they get the meal plan sent, there will be nothing off plan for the first 2 weeks. This is very important so I can clearly analyse what has gone on with the meal plan we have set for 2 weeks. And then there is nothing that annoys me more when someone comes back and goes, last weekend I did this, and last night I did this. My weight's up, the plan's not working.
Oh, mate.
I'm like, listen, you fucking whopper. I said, you've eaten the Dominoes the night before you've checked it
Yeah,
for a start.
that is the biggest thing, isn't
I
it?
said, what the fuck? I said, you couldn't even follow a meal plan for 2 weeks. I said, and you ate a Dominoes the night before you got on the scales. I said, you may as well be holding a fucking baby in your arms, you dick. Like, I said, you couldn't have. But I'm dead blunt. I come back. You've absolutely wasted your first 2 weeks or your first week. Please rerun the plan. Don't put anything else in your mouth and check back in next week. There's nothing else to do because you can't do anything with
You
that.
can't, no.
It's just a waste.
I get this with clients I've had for a while, and it's become more and more common, where they know they're on a good track, and then all of a sudden their weight will be up 5 pounds, and they'll go, "Oh, I'm doing something this weekend, so I had my cheat meal last night." I'm like, "Fucking great! I don't know what the plan's done all week. You're up 5 pounds. I can't make any changes this week. Just rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
You're on your own."
But what some clients do, and I realised this year, and I found out eventually, because I've got Mans in Derby watching for me, yeah? I'd have a client check in on a Friday, yeah? His weight would drop, but not that much. But for a big guy, you should drop weight quite quickly. We order, the fatter you are, the more fat you should drop. Yeah. So he'd worked out, obviously, if he had the cheat meal on the Monday, but he checked in on the Friday, he'd still be relatively drop a little bit. So what I started doing with him was like, right, bro, I want your weight. Send me your weight Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that was the only way it worked because he knew he couldn't cheat then.
Yeah.
Because I would see the scale jump, but sometimes you have to just do that shit.
I just go daily. I'm just like daily weigh-ins, record him and put him in the check-in sheet.
Yeah.
Is it bad though that like to me, like that's just the kind of client I don't want. Like those people, I would just be like, I'm just not the guy for you. Like I know there are people that do it, and I get that. But if I have to get to the point where I'm saying things like I've seen coaches do it. Can you send me a picture at the end of your cardio of the treadmill, or can you send me your?
Oh, don't do them things.
Like that to me, that's just like don't waste my time, don't waste yours. Go and find another coach. There's plenty of people that love to have you.
Yeah, I do that. I've seen me a few times this year be like, listen, this isn't fun for me. I can't babyfy you. Like one of these obvious things here, right? For me, since the first diet I ever did, if I'm having to eat my steak and rice when I'm in a restaurant, I will just automatically order the leanest cut of steak, half the rice portion that comes, and say no sauce, right? Because in my mindset, while I'm in a diet, I'm not sure, so I'll make sure I undereat instead of overeat.
Yeah.
Right? That's logic, is it not? Like, that's logic, yeah? Yeah, you see people that don't use that logic, and I'm like, listen, right? Should I walk more? Well, what do you mean? Well, should I walk more? I'm like, are you trying to lose weight? Yes. Do you think walking more will help or not? Yes. Then fucking walk more. It's like, I really struggle with people that seem to not be able to think for themselves. And I've always been like that. I was like that at uni, like, no one knows the information. Like, I don't expect clients to know the information I have, right? That's why they hire me. But I struggle with people that can't use some common sense. For instance, surely everybody knows if they eat a Dominoes the night before they're getting on the scales are going to be heavier, right? Now, if we are trying to lose weight and you do that and then follow it up with, what's the plan now? Well, how can I give you a plan when you have completely skewed the information? Oh, sending me pictures in the dark. Well, how can I make a decision on how to effectively change your plan when I can't see if the last 7 days have done shit. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's these sort of things that I just know a client is not for me.
Yeah.
Because, as you boys all know, I give my clients an awful lot, as we all do as coaches, do you know what I mean? But if they can't give you the little things back, then in my opinion, they're not really invested in the process. So you're not going to have a good time in the process. And if you're not having a good time on either side, there ain't going to be no progress. They're not going to be happy, you're not going to be happy, and it ain't worth the money. And like you say, there are plenty of people out there that have gone and done some fucking stupid 5-day course with someone so they can call themselves a coach, that will put on their advertisements 24/7 WhatsApp service, and they will message you back telling you it's totally fine that you didn't do your cardio any hour of the fucking day, so you pay them £100 a month.
Yeah.
And that's where those people need to be.
Yeah.
Because they ain't no good for us.
Need more support than others. Like, we all have that client that just cracks on, checks in, everything's spot on, and that's good. And then some clients need a little bit more support, which is fine, you know. But when it comes to babysitting, that's just a little bit too far. Like, I don't know. You might disagree, but what's your guys' opinion on these guys that do check-in calls every fucking week and they're like, do half an hour fucking call with their clients?
What do you mean call? As in like a Skype?
I don't know, like a phone call,
Yeah.
or like,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, no, I don't do that.
Like I see this all the time. Like, I do phone calls with my clients every fucking week. I don't want to fucking talk to someone for half an hour every fucking week. Fuck that shit. No, that's a waste of my time.
I do. I think
me and Deck discussed this, I think, through the week, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, we were sat in the hotel talking about it, actually, right? In my answer to this has always been, right, the people that are offering a phone call check-in for 45 minutes or an hour, they are doing so because all they've done is a coaching mentoring course, or they're new to this, right? And they are trying to justify their cost to you by you having 45 minutes of their time, because they have no experience, no qualifications, or nothing else to really offer. And the easiest example of this is all of the majority of the top coaches, Chris Aceto, Chad Nichols, go on and on, that I've seen check-in responses from. Like, it's a running joke, you'll get 3 words from Chris Aceto. Like, you do not need Deck, what would I talk to you or is about, right? For 45 minutes on the phone, like, there is, for one, I've got no interest in doing that. For two, it is just not needed, and that would not help me with my job whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason they are doing it is to justify their cost. And the other thing is, the fact is, there are a lot of people out there that want a bodybuilding friend. They are hiring their coach, so they've got someone to talk to bodybuilding about, bounce ideas off, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you've got a low-level client, you've got a low-level coach. If that setup works, that setup works. Now, don't get me wrong. If you've got an advanced client and you're running into shows, me, Deck, me, Riz, me, Seb, me, James, we might very well do a few phone calls to talk things over, right? That makes sense. But there is AJ, my coach, right? We did email check-ins up until 8-9 weeks out, then we did WhatsApp. But it's all very, you should see his responses. What are they like, Deck?
Yeah.
Do this. Tell me in 2 days.
Yeah.
There's nothing. What would I talk to him on the phone for? 45 minutes?
Yeah, he's
For
not your
one-
friend, exactly.
No, well, for one, I don't want to spend 45 minutes talking to him. And he doesn't want to spend 45 minutes talking to me because it's not fucking needed.
But
It is not needed at all.
there would be so
I-
many better. You would see so many better results of people. It's like a restaurant, isn't it? You have a restaurant that delivers good service or good food. Yeah. There would be so many better results that you see on Instagram day in, day out if people just focus on the results that they deliver rather than the service that they offer, which is
Yeah.
just saturated with utter nonsense. Which I don't care what anyone says. You can strip all of that back to the basics of the running joke of Chris Aceto. He'll do your dart on a serviette. He did it for fucking Luke Sandow when he was after the Olympia. He gave him his dart on a serviette and he went back with it back home. Like, this is not difficult. They are trying to overcomplicate it to add value to their service. It's as simple as that. They are trying to bamboozle you with tech, information, long words, all this sort of stuff to sound like the money you're paying them is worthwhile.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I don't use any fancy apps. Everything is done via email because that works with my work system. I have a business WhatsApp, but when you get when you get your plan from me, it's not worked out in little boxes, meal per meal on an app. It's all not regurgitated. You can tell that I have a template, and then you can tell that I have actually spent the time sitting, reading your information, working out the plan, and then I have hand typed on this template what you are doing and why. So what you are paying for is the time I have spent putting my knowledge that is very good, putting my qualifications that are very high, and putting my 2 decades of experience into your plan. And then I look at that plan every time you check in, and I use all of that just stated to give you what to do next. That is what you were paying for. You were not paying for me to waffle at you like a fucking podcast in 45 minutes.
That's what... See, people think that I do video calls with my clients, but I don't. All I do is, the lads see me do it before, yeah? Like, let's just say Hilly, when he checked me in, when I worked with him for years, he'd type back the text. With me, all I do is I open the picture, I open my application, right? All the app is a food plan. And I simply run through their pictures on the video. It's a video recording. And I talk, oh yeah, you're looking a little bit soft, what happened, blah, you said here, this and that. And I send it back. And all they can do is, while they're driving their car, they play it, they know what the plan is, and they crack on. I don't ring anyone.
The thing is, though,
that makes sense.
I
like talking.
I respect Hilly too much as a human being to, like, bother him. I know I'm paying for a service, but I understand what service I'm paying for. I'm not paying for him to be my friend. I don't want to waste his time. I don't want to badger him. All I want him to do is help me get from point A to point B with his experience. And it's been that way from day one. I don't think I've even had his WhatsApp number for the best part of the first 18 months, 2 years. I'm not joking. I checked in every 2 weeks. It wasn't once a week. It was an email every 2 weeks. And then we progressed over time. But
bro,
I just respect him enough as a human being to say, I don't want to be a pain in your ass. I know what I'm paying you for.
Yeah.
And I know what the service you can offer me. And I'm happy with that, you know?
I never had his WhatsApp, bro, for like 3 years when we first worked. It was all on email.
Like what Dex said to me last week, like, and the same with me and Riz. Like, we became friends, but we still don't. We are all now best mates, right? But we still don't talk to each other on the phone 45 minutes every fucking week. So if we are best mates, and we are, like, we all talk every fucking day on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
But if we don't actually pick up the phone and call each other 45 minutes, and these guys have been my clients for years and made phenomenal progress without a 45-minute phone call, why is anybody else in the need of... But again, don't get me wrong. If that's what you feel you need, and that's what a coach is offering you, that is fine. But categorically, in my opinion, that is not what is giving you progress. That is not what you should be spending money on. You should be spending money on someone that actually has the knowledge, experience, and understanding to get the most out of you. And really, a check-in probably takes me 30 minutes, right? That 30 minutes is me analysing stuff, going back through previous data, going back through notes, then in my own notes typing what you need to do, and then I just simply need to tell you what you need to do, and you just simply need to do what you need to do. If you have a question back, you fire it to me, and then I fire you a very detailed response. But and that is the most streamlined way of working in this environment, and that is what works, and that is why it has always fucking worked, and that is why the people at the top do it and the people at the bottom do it.
But I think, just to put it out there, there's nothing wrong with talking to your clients on the phone, like, but when it becomes a weekly thing, it's a problem. Sometimes I have a client message me saying, Riz, can you ring me, bro, when you get a chance?
Yeah.
And something really gone wrong, and I will ring up. That's fine. We talk about the issue. We're not talking about, other bullshit.
It's when it's become a marketing tool is when it bothers me.
Oh, yeah.
Or sometimes, like, it's easier to have a 2-minute phone call to go over something rather than type for 10 minutes, Sure, but like, it's when it's fucking weekly. And the same thing with a lot of these fucking spreadsheet bodybuilders where they're like, fucking 10 different spreadsheets. What was your shits like? How many pisses did you take that fucking day? And it's like,
like Cubas.
Huh?
Cuba's is like that, isn't it? How many times you
Mate,
use shit? What was your shit
I'm
like?
telling you, a couple of guys at my gym were like, they were like, he gets funny with you when you skip some of the stuff, or if you don't, and it's like, why is that so relevant? Unless, like, you know, I just can't see it. And I had someone message me like, oh, sign out for coaching, and they're like, what apps do you use, and what sheets do you use for your spreadsheets? I'm like, bro, it's all done on WhatsApp. I send you a fucking diet on WhatsApp. Then it's all. I said we keep it all in the same place. Everything is in WhatsApp. Your pictures are in WhatsApp. Your diet's in WhatsApp. I star the shit that I need to see, like your latest diet, this and that, and I can alter it. You know, that works best for me.
See, I understand. You've also got to think of the clients that you're working with. So with Kuba, right? Kuba only works with high-level clients. So Kuba is wanting to track every bit of data. So for me, with my high-level clients, depending on the client, right? So like, I don't need to start saying to Deck, listen, tell me if you have one shit a day or two. I know that Deck, if all of a sudden his bowel movements skew, right? He will say to me, listen, Hilly, something's up because something's off, right? But on my sheet, I do have a section that says digestion, bowel movements, any changes, any issues for normal clients. And then for my more advanced clients, I expect them to know what that means and if they're going to tell me a change.
But bro, it's like rating it though. What was your shits like out on a scale of like 1 to 10?
Yeah, with like a picture chart to like dot. This is what my poo looked like.
Oh, bro, me, Hilly, we spoke about a lot of shit and a lot of bowel movements over the years, bro. Fucking hell.
Well, I must be the only human. I must be the only male on the planet that's probably spent more time discussing bowel movements and girls' periods than any girl on the fucking planet. So obviously working for the NHS for fucking 10 years on an eating disorders unit, and then we're working with privately girls with eating disorders, girls that are athletes, and the actual periods and the cycles and the bowel movements is something that I end up spending most of my, because I always get a female client going, this might be too much detail, and I'm like, no, I've spent the last 15 years discussing this shit in detail, love, don't worry about it.
Yeah, and that's such a biggie for females. Like, they don't understand. Like, when they come on their cycle, like, it's such important information to give to a coach. I never feel embarrassed about that. We understand as a human part of your body. It's completely normal, but like, that is information you must tell your coach. It makes the biggest difference to look, body weight. I always like halt any changes at all over that 10 to 14 day period. Same plan. Let's watch it. Let's watch the fluid drop off. Let's wait for hormones to stabilize again, and then third check in from then, we're back on track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lads, it's 10 past 10. Must be fucking bedtime.